Hi, I'm Finn, and today I'll show you how to use PropFiller, the editor tool that automatically fills the edges of any 2D object with random props. After you download the file, you might have to extract it. In either way, you will end up with a file called PropFiller v something. Then I want you to drag the file into your assets folder and let it load for a while. After you imported the package, you will see a couple things. PropFiller, Prop Wobbler, Prop Container, Player Script, Demo UI Controller, and the demo scene. In the editor folder, you will see the PropFiller editor file. You will also see a README for instructions, a license document, a white ball sprite, and a white ball prefab. Before you spawn the props, we need to make sure everything is set and ready to go. Open up the demo scene. Here you will see some demonstrations of what you can do with the plugin. You'll see different shapes and different edges, but I'll go into that later on. First, I need you to select the white ball prefab. Then make a tag called prop. After, you will assign it to the prefab. You can use any prefab you want. Then I need you to select the white capsule. This is the player. Make sure it has the tag player. Do this for your in-game player as well. If you want other enemies to have the wobble effect, you have to change that in the code. Then I need you to add a couple sorting layers. Click on Add Sorting Layer and add these layers in this exact order with these exact names. Maybe the sorting layers have already been added, but it's in the wrong order. Just delete them and re-add them in the right way. Just to make it clear, you have to add them in this exact order and you have to type them in this exact way. Otherwise, you will not be able to change how many layers are in front of the player and how many are behind the player. Last but not least, I need you to give the player the player sorting layer. Now everything is prepared for spawning the props. Let's add a 2D square sprite. Give the X and the Y a size of around 15. I am going to give the square a black color. You can use any color you want. Then you have to give it a box collider 2D. You can use any 2D collider you want. Capsule collider, circle collider, even a polygon collider. As you can see here, I have a lot of different shapes. Then you have to add the PropFiller script. Simply drag it into the empty space in the inspector. Then you have to add the prefab to the script. Simply type in any amount of prefabs you have in the prefab dropdown, and this can be any amount you want. Drag the prefab into the element field. Increase the vertical edge thickness and hit the spawn props button. Now you will see that the props have spawned, but it's not quite good yet. So let's fine tune everything and make the plugin actually useful. Select a square and hit the clear props button. Sometimes this does not work. I have not fully fixed this yet. It seems that in some projects it works and in some it doesn't. When I have found a solution, I will notify it in the Discord server, link in the description. To clear the props if the button is not working, expand the global prop container. Inside, search for the name of the object you just spawned the props on, so name_prop container, and delete it. Let's start with adding some color. Select what color you want to start with by pressing the little rectangle on the left. Do the same with the right side. This will be your second color, the color you will end up with. For me, I already have a preset. This works better with the background I selected earlier. Next, let's select what edges we would like to spawn the props on. Then we can increase the edge thickness. Then hit the spawn props button. Now the props have spawned with a color transition. Next, I want to show you something about the corners. Make sure to clear the props and select all the edges. If needed, increase the vertical edge thickness until it's around the same size as your horizontal edge thickness. then hit the Spawn Props button. You will see that there are some dark stripes in the corners. There are some more examples to the left. Here you will see an object with normally spawned edges. Underneath that one you will see the same object but with manually fixed edges. At the bottom you will see the recommended way to manually fix the edges. If you want to try the wobble effect, you can hit play. The layers won't work because the project did not know what sorting layers to use first. We added the right sorting layers, so you can just clear the props on the object under the player and hit the spawn button again. The undo and redo system is fully supported. Press Ctrl Z to undo and Ctrl Y to redo. Quick note, Circle Collider 2D works, but the tool uses the bounding box for distribution. It's not perfectly circular. Also, it's an editor-only tool. It runs inside Unity, not at runtime. That's it. Now you know how to use the 2D PropFiller tool. If you have any questions or feedback, reach out via the Discord server. Link is in the description.